like an exchange of movement, like you can do 3 to 5 moves, and then let the other lady do 3 to 5 moves and kind of go back and forth, and then I'll call time and we can switch partners. You can just introduce yourself. Try to pick somebody who you don't know, somebody that maybe you didn't come here with, and we'll move on from there, okay? Just to kind of get loose and meet some other people that you haven't met yet. Sound good? Okay, let's do it. Grab somebody. I say that, but I find too many times in my experience of training jiu-jitsu, I've been training since 2003. I was awarded my black belt in October of 2011. I'm from Los Angeles, California, the wife, not the daughter, of Chris, the Honorable Chris Haueter. He's a little bit older than me, but not 14 years. Not quite old enough to be my dad. But I trained mainly with him. I also had the honor and privilege to train under Cindy Omatsu, who was the first American woman to receive the rank of black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I trained with her very regularly until I was a brown belt. And I consider myself very lucky because with her, also I was able to meet like, Felicia O and Jocelyn Chang and some of the other women who were like the firsts. Leka, Vieira, eventually had the opportunity to go to like a Leticia Ribeiro camp, like some of the women who were the first women. Without them, we wouldn't be here right now because this was a man's sport. And that's why we are so much less than the other guys, why there's so many fewer of us than there are of them. Not that I feel like it's an us-them thing, because I need them. I need them too. And I learned so much from my husband being my coach as well. But I think it's when you are have the opportunity to train with women, I think that it's a really great opportunity. And I would always go to Cindy's class and roll with her and her other female students, in addition to training with my husband. Because, I think that that's important. So, I want to encourage you guys, I'm only going to be here today and tomorrow, but if at any point or during the class you want to ask me any questions about my experience being a female jiu-jitsu practitioner, I encourage you and invite you to talk to me. I've had 2 babies. The first one I was a brown belt, and the second one a black belt. Obviously I was pretty addicted and committed to the sport. I was highly competitive at blue and purple, and less so at brown and black because I had kids, and they're my priority. They kind of have taken over that place in my life, that jiu-jitsu was the focus, jiu-jitsu was my world, and when I had kids, it's like I can't just do that anymore, It has a different meaning, and those of you that are mothers can probably relate to that. I don't know, I meet some young mothers and some other ones who can seem to still train 7 days a week with kids, and they're in their 30s. Like for me, that's not how it worked out. But I did with my son. I was on the mat till I was 38 weeks pregnant, teaching, and so I still was able to participate in the sport. And I traveled with my husband a lot before I had kids, and now it's less. But last year and this year, we've got to come to this nice Globetrotter camp in Belgium, so that's like a really special experience for us as a family that we get to share. So I think they definitely know that there's more to life than jiu-jitsu, and I'm really happy that I have a husband and children, and I didn't end up one of those ladies who made jiu-jitsu my whole world and then didn't have all that other stuff, because, what else? Okay, so I've had a lot of injuries too. You want to talk about injury prevention, rehabilitation, my experience with that? I also invite you to do that. I feel like I've had to take a different road than a lot of the guys that I train with who have bigger wrists, bigger ankles, bigger ligaments, bigger bones, more muscles. I have to do things differently than what they do so that I can stay strong, so when they throw their big leg around my leg, it doesn't just collapse. I also know that training with women has been, in my experience, times when I've gotten the most injured. I broke my ankle training with a woman. I sprained my knee 2 or 3 times training with a woman because we're not holding back. When the men train with us, they're usually holding back. They're trying not to hurt us. Or at least in my experience, I don't train with a man who's trying to hurt me, because that's not really smart. I did maybe as a white belt and popped ribs and different things, but I don't do that anymore. If a man's willing to try to be technical with me, I'll roll with them. But if they're just going to smash me and they just want to see me how many times they can make a black belt tap, Nuh-uh, not going to do that. But when we train together, you know, we're using our strength, because we use our strength with them too. But they just can't feel it the same way as we feel it when we train with each other. So there's also the issue of arm size. Most of you ladies have nice, beautiful, slender arms. When you go to throw an arm bar on a man, you don't have to pinch as tight. But when you throw it on a woman, you've got to really tighten it up. You've got to really make your stuff tighter. And so that's why I always appreciate it, especially before competing, training with the women. So I'm going to talk about, now moving away from that, I'm going to get into something that I think is universal for the guys and the ladies. And that's kind of how I view jiu-jitsu in terms of like what I think is the most important thing about jiu-jitsu. And this is just my opinion. All I can share with you is my opinion and my experience. I'm not going to say this is the way it is, but this is the way I see it. So the two things that I find to be the key to fundamental jiu-jitsu are the base and the guard recovery. So what is base? When I say the word base, what do you guys think of?
4 points on the mat.
It's all about that base. About that base. Huh?
4 points on the mat.
4 points on the mat. Okay. Anybody else? Foundation. Good. Okay, so yeah, I think base is a lot about foundation. So everybody go ahead and hop up onto your knees for me. And just come up on your knees. Put your knees together real quick. Get yourself some space. Don't be all flat together. So if she's here together with her knees, it's really easy to just topple her over. Just on her knees together, right? So what's important that we do, and this is something that Chris talks about a lot, is we make a nice wide base here. We curl our hips under, so we don't want our butt stuck out, because what happens if my butt stuck out? Stick your butt out for me. Stick your butt way out. I can just pull her down and she falls, right? So that's your posture. Your base supports your posture. So instead of having my butt out, I'm going to curl my butt under and sit down. And I'm going to make my abs rock hard, so that if somebody punches me, I can just take those body shots, right? I'm going to have my elbows in. Why do I want my elbows in? So I don't get arm attacks, so I don't get arm locked, right? If I only expose my elbow to my hand, they can't hyperextend my elbow, right? Or get my shoulder, because I'm keeping my elbow connected to my belt. So this is what Chris calls T-Rex hands. Okay, so my T-Rex hands are here, they're in, my little short stubs, and I can also start to protect my neck if I need to, right? They're right here. Am I going to do this? No. I'm going to tuck my neck in, I'm going to hunch my shoulders, round my back, and this is not pretty posture in life. But this is how I start out my over-exaggerated posture for jiu-jitsu. Protecting my neck. I want to be a turtle who's keeping my head barely poking out of the shell, because if I do this, tap, right? And I don't want to, especially when I'm training with those big guys, I don't want to have to fight out of their chokes and arm bars. I want an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right? So if I'm here, and I start from here, this is my safety spot. This is where I come back to. Okay, so we're going to talk about the different bases as I see them. So this is number 1, base down on 2 knees. Usually this is where I'm at for like close guard, when somebody has their legs wrapped around me, ankles crossed in the back. So I'm going to, from here, transition to my combat base. So everybody grab a combat base. In combat base, I want my knee in between my hands. My elbows are still in, still connected to my belt. I still got my turtleneck going. Right. And turtleneck, that's like a clothing item. Anyways, that's the first time I've ever used that analogy. So I've got my nice wide base here, and combat base, having the knee in between the hands, allows me to protect myself against triangles and arm locks, because I have my knee here, and it's kind of hard to like tighten up, pull my arm over if my knee's in the middle, right? The other cool thing about combat base is I can curl that rear toe under or not, and I can stand up. It's kind of hard when I'm rolling to go from here to here, though I can. It's not preferred, right? I'd rather come combat base and stand. So everybody combat base and stand. And then I've got my combat base, double knees, other one up in the center, and stand. Combat base, double knees, so I'm feeling where my posture is. I'm also, when I'm here, I'm not here. I'm definitely not here. I don't want to be here. Sometimes maybe I am here, but I'd rather be here. Why? Let me have somebody. If she's bent over at the waist, what happens? So stand up, so combat base, and stand. If she bends over at the waist, combat base, and stand. She's bent over at the waist. Maybe I can't pick her up. Oh, I can pick her up, right? We have somebody small. So she's bent over at the waist. I can do these nice, beautiful De La Riva sweeps, right? Where I pick her up. So, and that's what the guys are going to do to you. They're going to pick you up any chance they have because you're so light and it's so easy. And then you're flying, and maybe it's fun for a second, but then you're on your back and you don't want to be on your back. You want to be the guy on top. So, again, we come up into our standing posture. So let's practice that a few more times. We're just really being conscious. We're looking up. It's not improving. What do you want to do when you're in someone's open guard? You want to pass the guard, right? So if you get swept, you're not going to pass the guard. So I'm going to have her go on 2 knees down. When 2 knees are down, one of the common sweeps that I might do is like a butterfly. Does everybody know that? A butterfly sweep. 2 hooks are in. Okay, so I go to do the sweep on her. And she's going to move to combat base. Go, combat base. No, combat base. There she is. Okay, so now it kind of changes my direction. Maybe I start to feed something here. So I just get kind of a modified De La Riva. She had 1 knee up. So I went here, went to De La Riva, and pushed her over. How can she block that one? Maybe she can stand up. Yes. Now I'm going to try to pick her up. How can she avoid me picking her up? Stand all the way up, chest tall, real tall. There. Now I can't pick her up anymore. So now I'm going to push her leg out and try to De La Riva her again. So here you're going to drop down to combat base there. Yeah. So now that's not working. So my idea about base and how that relates to sweeps is that by changing my levels, I can avoid sweeps. Show me some sweeps. So she goes as soon as I sweep me. I might stand up, De La Riva, or get back sweep. So is that one good? I feel it coming, and I drop down to combat base. So what are you going to do now? You're going to try to elevate. So I'm going to stand back up. You're going to go back to back. I'm going to pop back down into combat base. Does that make sense? Okay, so as a drill, maybe go with a partner. Ladies, try to pick somebody who maybe has one that's less experienced and one that's more experienced, so you can kind of work on the sweeps. You can help each other. So if you know some sweeps, people who feel like they're really good at sweeps, come over here. People who don't, come over here. Silence in this room right now. I command it from the source of my being. Okay, so I had a question about spider guard. So I'm going to show this same drill, but from a spider guard drill. So I want you to be down on 2 knees, please. So the first sweep, she's down on 2 knees. When I'm in my spider guard, I extend, and if she's on her knees, I should always have the feeling like I want to take my toes over my head to that direction. So I'm going to extend, and I'm going to take my toes over my head. And then now maybe. Okay, again. I have my spider guard tight here, my snotty sleeve grip. I can wipe my nose. If I have a cold, all over her gi, because she really likes that, because I just met her right now, and she wants to exchange DNA with me. Right, because that's why we do jiu-jitsu. Okay, hip out, foot extended, over my head to 1 o'clock. That's sweep number 1. Now what can she do to avoid that sweep? She stands up. That shit doesn't work anymore. So I'm going to switch, and I'm going to take the foot that's on her bicep, and I'm going to replace it to where this foot that's on her hip, the foot that's on the hip is going to come down, and I'm going to back sweep her. So spider guard, extend, together, switch, back. One more time. Spider guard, together, switch, back. But how can she defend that sweep? Tell me before I do it. Combat base, that's right. So let's do it together. So I'm going to go into my spot. You have to wait till I do it. If you don't feel it, don't see the opposite of what we should do is just keep changing levels and hope that they don't catch a sweep. That's not the drill. That's not jiu-jitsu. I don't just keep trying to grab shit and hope that I catch something. I want every movement that I make to be calculated and to have a purpose. If the movement doesn't have a purpose, I don't do it, unless I'm screwing up. Okay? You want to know about having a 2-year-old boy on the mat while you're teaching, we can talk about that later. All right, so I'm trying to step. She feels it happening. Drop. Right? She shut that down, so I'm going to try to do something else. Maybe she goes 2 knees down again, or 2 knees are there. She can go there. She feels something happening. What would you do to get out of that? What would you do? Yes, good. And then she feels this happening. No. She feels this happening. Or drops a knee, right? She's going to keep changing levels. And why is she doing all of this work? Why? 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 Why, Miss Haueter? Why does she not want to get swept?
Being on bottom on planet Earth sucks.
Because she wants to pass the guard. Right? Don't you want to pass the guard? I want to pass the guard. But if I get swept, I can't pass the guard. Why do I want to pass the guard? No, it's not about points. Because I want to be on top. I want to be in mount. I want to be in side control. Why do I want to be in side control? Because I want to win. I want to win and I want to make her tap. I want to arm lock her. I want to choke her. That's the point, right? The point of jiu-jitsu, it's not always about points because most of our training happens in a room somewhat like this. It doesn't happen on a competition square, right? But I like to try to do jiu-jitsu, which to me the point of jiu-jitsu is to pass the guard, get on top, and get a submission. That's what I'm looking for anyways. It doesn't always happen, and I'm happy with that. That's okay, but I'm still trying to do it. I'm not trying to get a submission, right? Maybe? I don't know. I think guard is very important as well. Why do I want to have a guard?
Because it sucks to get up bottom.
Because I don't want to be on bottom. I don't want to be the person who's mounted, the person who's bottom cross sides, right? Even if I think I have a really sick escape, if one of these, where's that giant brown belt guy who I want to tune up? Where's that guy? He's somewhere out there. I saw him earlier. Anyways, if that giant brown belt guy has me in bottom mount, I don't want to be there. So if I have a good guard recovery and ability to hold retain my guard and possibly sweep him, then I don't have to worry about that anymore. Or maybe even do a submission for a guard. Let's see how my times go. Okay. So we'll talk a little bit about guard retention now. Because I think the way that I instruct and the way that I understand jiu-jitsu is that base stuff is really important from my different ranges. And maybe some of my bigger students out there are students who have knee injuries and don't feel like they can do all that. Maybe they only need 2 ranges. I'm not saying everybody has to pass standing or everybody has to pass from their knees. But having a couple of those ranges and feeling like you have a strong base there, I think is pretty important. So then we move on to the guard. Open guard. We're only talking about open guard today. So in open guard, a couple of the principles. Let's get loud out there again. Okay, a couple of the principles that I find very important that were very helpful for me when I was developing my guard. The first one, maintaining a 90-degree angle with the femurs, which is also like an L shape, the letter L. So wherever I'm at, I want to have an L shape. Because what happens, when she doesn't have an L, she has a V. I can smash her legs together, right? But if she has an L, make it a nice strong L. I'm going to have to struggle to get those smashed. Even if I push her to the other side, if I push her over here, I'm trying to smash that, and it's harder to smash, right? So I have that L shape. The second thing is keeping the femurs near the breasts. Yes, I said breasts. Or pecs, if you have pecs. I have pecs. I used to have breasts when I was breastfeeding. All right, so I did that in training as well. Okay, so everybody's here. You have your L, and you have your quads near your pecs. So then somebody pushes you backwards. What happens? You keep it. I keep my L shape. I keep my quads near my breast. They pull me up. I go side, back, up. So this is your grappling ball. You're in your grappling ball. Everybody's in a grappling ball. This is your first drill. You're moving around in your little ball. You're keeping that L shape. And you're keeping that nose up. So she's going to pull me around a little bit. And the other thing that I have to do is as she moves side to side, I have to move with her. Because my spine has to be in line with her spine. Right? But see how I'm keeping my quads near my pecs? I can hold on if I want to. Move around. And then I can start to use my feet to connect, but I'm still keeping that bent knee. I'm just trying to move side to side like a Torianda pass. You know what I'm talking about? Like Torianda, like you're trying to come around this way, walk around. She starts to walk around, and I just spin with her. I spin with her. So that's what I want you guys to practice first, is just moving with your partner, keeping the L shape, keeping the quads near the chest. Got it? Okay, do it. Pass, and also hold the base. So this bottom person starts to try to look for sweeps. Top person try to look for passes. Does that make sense? You got it? And then I'll call time and you can switch top to bottom. We're just going to do that real quick before the end of the session. Got it? Got it? Good to go.